2011 saw a new NBA champion rise above the best in the league. Names like Kobe, Durant, LeBron, and Wade. Now, what free agent pieces do the champion Mavs need to keep the NBA crown atop their head? Maybe Chris Paul, Dwight Howard, or local boy Darren Williams? No. But one man, and one man alone, can single-handedly control and secure the future for the Dallas Mavericks. That man is Marco Bellinelli, also known as Sylvester Stallone.
Hey there, everybody, and welcome to the Half-Assed Sportscast. I am your host, Ryan Faulkner, and alongside me, as always, Mark, the Big Cheese of Wisco Briganti.
Good evening, Ryan. Good evening, sports fans. Thanks for having me.
What's up, killer?
Not much, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing fantabulous. That's a lie.
Who would have thought Dirk Nowitzki, Jason Kidd, Sean Marion, and Marco Bellinelli is gonna take the cake there?
You like that, dude?
It's good stuff. That's good
Marco
stuff.
Bellinelli. I was looking through the list of free agents, and he's in there, dude. I was
you
like,
guys need him to get you over the hump.
Yes, we need Marco Bellinelli. Dude, remember when I told you, I was like, dude, there's this guy. He's on the Golden State Warriors. He looks exactly like Sylvester Stallone.
That's him. That is him.
Making you proud.
Yeah.
All right, man. So what's up with you, dude?
Not much, man. Just woke up from a nap not too long ago. I'm feeling refreshed, ready to go. So,
jeez, you gonna run like a 10K? Yeah, let's do.
Already letting the internet stardom go to his head.
Jeez, I know.
Spends all day napping in the trailer.
God. All right, dude. Let's run the sports marathon. Let's go ahead and start off with, I guess, the news of the week. It's been almost a clean week. And the last time we talked, the NBA was just getting started up. I think free agency and training camp started Friday. And man, it has just been a flurry of rumors, of speculation, of just it's going to happen, it's not going to happen. It has just been, it's kind of been monumental.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it has. It's really been kind of living up to the hype, huh? Like we all thought it would be.
Dude, yeah. I mean, I guess the big hubbub is the free agent class of 2012, which, oddly enough, they're trying to not let it get to 2012. They're trying to move these pieces now. And, of course, the pieces I'm speaking of are Chris Paul, Dwight Howard, and Darren Williams. Now, of course, Chris Paul is in New Orleans, Dwight Howard's in Orlando, and Darren Williams is in New Jersey with the Nets. And right off the bat,
Ryan. Brooklyn.
Oh, whatevs. And another correction, because we got breaking news here. Not 2 minutes after we secured and finished editing that, did Chris Paul get traded to the Clippers?
Yeah.
So it's already out of date. So,
yep.
But we'll get that in due time. Let's see the road we had to get there. I guess we could start with Chris Paul. You want to do that?
Chris Paul to the Clippers, I guess. Breaking news. Yeah, let's cover that first.
So, can you tell me about what do you know about them dealing with the Lakers their first time?
I was going to say which time. The first time, actually, I'll be honest with you, this trade package looked really, really good for New Orleans. I know that Houston was a player in that, and they were going to benefit. But the real winner was actually New Orleans dealing Chris Paul and then getting back. I believe it was it Lamar Odom? And was it Pau Gasol to New Orleans, or was one of them stopping in Houston?
Yeah, Gasol was going to Houston. A bunch of runoff was going to New Orleans. I think Luis Scola might have been going.
It was benefiting New Orleans, though.
It was. It wasn't that bad, but as you know, Mark.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, dude. Yeah, but as you know, that what happened. The main thing was that there was 3 teams involved and a lot of moving parts, and I guess it was almost a done deal. I remember that night. It was basically they're just waiting into the night, waiting for it to get approved, and then it didn't get approved. A couple of owners, namely Mark Cuban and the Cleveland Cavaliers owner Dan Gilbert, stepped in and said, "Hey, wait a minute. I don't think this is fair." And technically, it's kind of weird because the league owns the Hornets. All right, so it's like when the league owned the Stars, and like the league still owns the Coyotes, the NHL. So technically, those 2 owners are part owners of that team, being owners of the league. So it was very weird them piping up and nixing it. And then it comes out that the reason they did it was because, the reason the lockout happened in the first place was because these smaller market teams couldn't get big name players to come there and couldn't keep their players. Teams like the Cleveland Cavaliers, teams like the Hornets couldn't keep enough interest in there and enough money coming into that team to support the team, and there was a lot of talks of contracting, not expanding. And I guess that's why Cuban did that. Now, crap, I just lost my train of thought. Choo-choo. Go ahead, Mark. Say something.
So I guess with them nixing the deal with New Orleans, it definitely ticked off a lot of people, including Chris Paul, who I think had his heart set to go to LA and to join up there with Kobe and kind of be in Los Angeles and kind of live in the hype life and all that comes with it.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
so that was intriguing to him. And when it didn't happen, they just kind of dropped the ball on that, and they went back and forth, and they were trying to get an appeal to see if the deal could go through. Ended up not, and then I think one of the sides pulled out, and the deal was off at the table then, and you didn't hear much from it anymore until tonight. Breaking news. Do you have the trade terms for everybody in front of you there, Ryan?
I can look it up, but they actually started the talks up again after that, if you remember. Like a couple of days later, they said, "Oh, they're still back. They're still talking," and then that night, when it looked like something might be on, the deal got canceled again. And then a twist of fate, which we'll talk here about in a minute. That deal's not only off, but the Lakers was a big piece. But yes, as you were saying, Mark, Chris Paul started talking, or the Hornets started talking to the Lakers, and just in the same way that the Clippers, just the same way that the talks in the Lakers started, the Clippers talks got hot and heavy, and then it died off, and then it was not going to happen. And then wait, hold on. We're coming back, and we're going to make it happen. And this time, it wasn't as strong, but it seems to have stuck. And as Chris Paul is going to the Clippers for Eric Gordon, Chris Kaman, forward Al-Farouq Amani, and Minnesota's unprotected, I don't know, is a forward, though. Minnesota's unprotected 2012 first-round draft pick. So, I guess getting another good point guard for the Hornets and Eric Gordon's good.
Oh, actually, they were reluctant to at first. A couple of teams, Golden State Warriors and the Clippers, are both reluctant on parting ways with their young point guards. Gordon with Los Angeles and Stephen Curry with Golden State. Golden State refused. They said, "I don't care, what it takes. We're not going to part ways with him." And obviously, they would have to in order to bring in Chris Paul, since they play the same position. In essence, I guess Stephen Curry is a two guard, and he's a great scorer, but kind of 6 and 1/2 dozen the other, if you ask me. So they weren't going to part ways. I guess finally the Clippers broke. The sight of Chris Paul in a Clippers uniform is just too good to pass up, and they decided to go ahead and deal for him.
So Chris Paul is going to be playing with Blake Griffin and the newly signed Caron Butler.
Mm-hmm. They're trying to build something around Blake out there. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if there'll be a player just yet. Definitely an addition. Chris Paul's a great player. And then you got Blake Griffin, a rising star. Who knows? I mean, I think that they could make the playoffs? Maybe, but I don't know if they're going to be actually contending. A lot of good teams out west for them to try to dethrone this early on. They might be a piece or two away before they can go ahead and do that.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I don't think they have enough defense there. I mean, Blake Griffin's great, Duncan, but you know what? You can see how how that worked for the Suns in 2004 and 5 and 6.
Yeah.
So that's yet to be determined. But yet, that was breaking news. Chris Paul to the Clippers. Now, Mark, let's go out east for a bit. Let's go out and hang out in the pool in the east backyard. I guess we can start with Dwight Howard. Actually, let's start with Derek Williams because that's really kind of not a lot going on up there. Derek Williams is technically a free agent, but from all indications and from all speculation, I don't see him moving. I think the Nets want him there. I think that's the only piece that they have, and if they deal him away, then I'm not sure what they're going to have. So I don't see him moving at all. But
okay.
There hasn't been a lot of talk about it. But what I do see maybe happening is Dwight Howard going there. Now, Dwight Howard actually kind of got in trouble for talking directly to the Nets. The league kind of slapped the hand, said, "Look, Magic, you need to decide you need to decide which teams your agent now has to work with now." And I think the three teams initially were the Lakers, were the Mavericks, and were the Nets. And of course, if he was going to stay with Orlando, and I didn't hear too much. As much as I'd like him to come here, I didn't hear much about him coming to Dallas. Most of the talks were from the Lakers after the Chris Paul thing went through, right, Mark? And then you heard this, quote unquote, they were working on a big deal. But late this afternoon, it looks like there's a big push to get him to go to the Nets. And now in breaking news, they says now he's off the block. And we've seen this before, haven't we, Mark? I mean, we just saw it with Chris Paul.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, definitely with Mikhail Prokhorov there taking over the New Jersey Nets, guy's got a lot of money, and he's looking to win. He's going to make a big splash coming over here and joining the NBA. He's got Jay-Z as a part owner. A lot of hype there. Jay-Z's moving him to Brooklyn, and so they're looking to, with the new arena that they're going to be building over there, changing the team over the name to Brooklyn Nets and trying to hype that up. Being in the New York area is going to definitely help. Deron Williams is definitely a player that I think if this all works out, he's going to want to stay there and they're going to want to keep him and they're going to want to build pieces around him. Especially this Prokhorov, he's looking to become a winner. So definitely Dwight Howard going there. And the first offer that I heard, and the only offer that I've heard, is Brook Lopez, who is an up-and-coming young player, probably
Sideshow
an all-star
Bob, right?
here. Yeah, well, his twin brother, his alter ego.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Little more clean cut, but yeah, and 2 first-round picks. I mean, that's a really good. Now, where do those first-round picks? Where do you land with those? Remains to be seen in the lottery, but that's a pretty good deal. It's pretty enticing. Now, of course, if Dwight leaves Orlando, they have no marquee player, nobody to sell tickets to get the fans in Orlando excited about basketball. So it's kind of a risk for them. But if he's going to walk anyways, you might as well try to get something for him before next year.
Yeah, kind of like they didn't get anything for Shaq whenever he left. I think that
right.
I don't think that's a fair trade. Brooks Lopez for Dwight Howard. Are you high? That's nuts. That is not 1-for-1. Brooks Lopez. He's serviceable, right? He's good, but come on.
He is.
Dwight Howard we're talking about.
He's on the cusp of maybe having an all-star season or two, but I don't think you can compare him to Dwight Howard. I don't think there is any good comparison there. So it would just simply be instead of having him walk and not get anything for him, Orlando at least thinks, well, 2 first-round picks and a solid big man down low is at least something. It's better than nothing.
So another part of this Dwight Howard trade is that whoever the team that works with the Magic whenever they figure out a deal, they're probably going to have to take on Hedo Turkoglu's contract, and that thing is fat. That thing is fat and it's ugly. It's not very pretty. So they're going to be wanting to pair that with Dwight Howard on top of a couple other things that they get back. So it's going to make him kind of tough to move. There's not a lot of teams in the new luxury tax laws want to take on a ton of money like that. And I guess that is where we come in, and I guess we'll talk about the Mavericks, because the Mavericks did not sign their free agents. The big names is JJ, Tyson Chandler, and Caron Butler. Like I said, Caron signed with the Clippers. JJ has since signed in the Bucks, or not the Bucks, the
Timberwolves.
Yeah, the Timberwolves. Why did I get those mixed up? Signed with the Timberwolves, and yes, and TC has gone to the Knicks. What do you think about that?
Wow,
Knicks
what a
move?
pickup! What a pickup for the Knicks. I mean, if they can actually hold on to Amari and Carmelo and get a point guard in there to facilitate, wow, I think the Knicks could definitely make a lot of noise in the East. I think that was a great move. They lack defense. D'Antoni, his systems have always been more offensive orientated, and to bring a big man in like that can grab 10, 12 rebounds a night, get you 2 or 3 blocks and 10 points, I think it's a great pickup. I think Tyson Chandler, depending on the personalities of the team, can definitely fit in there with him and with Amari and Carmelo. And all they need is a point guard. If they could get a point guard, they could make some noise. Watch out. Maybe later on in this year, depending on how the Suns are going, they might go ahead and trade Steve Nash to New York. I know that he's always wanted to kind of reunite with D'Antoni, and he might get excited to have a chance to play with those guys up there. So keep your eyes out for that. Yeah, if the Suns are not doing that well, they might try to.
He's a free agent this year too.
Yeah, I don't know what New York has to offer Phoenix. Again, it might be one of those things where they just kind of say, "Hey, Steve, we're not doing anything here. Go ahead and try to chase a ring." Depending on how giving the organizations are going to feel like they want to be with Steve Nash, and who knows if they're even caring about getting anything back. But yeah, Tyson Chandler, the Knicks, heck of a pickup.
Heck of a pickup for them.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be lost in Dallas for you guys too. That's the other side of it.
Yeah, I was very upset to see him go. I was upset to see that the Mavericks didn't really make an attempt to keep any of their free agents. And the story behind that is, as far as I understand, is all money related. Now, I guess once the new CBA was agreed upon and the season was agreed to start, basically they went ahead and said, look, guys, we're going to give you 1-year deals. And none of them obviously like that. So they didn't take it personally, and they've said so, that they love Dallas, especially Tyson Chandler says, look, I'll always have those memories there. They're my team that won a championship with. I have no hard feelings, but it's a business move, and now I'm a Knick, so I'm going to do what I got to do. But I always have a lot of respect and a soft spot in my heart for those guys. And good. You know what? If it's going to end like that, with the best center in Mavericks history, if just for 1 year, that championship, and you had to let him walk, I guess that's about as amicably as you can split.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry, Ryan. I don't mean to cut you off, but a better center than Sagana Drop It Like It's Hot? Are you sure that you want to go out on a limb like that? No.
Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. Give me a break. That guy's part of the reason the lockout would happen in the first place. You got a guy like Sagana Diop sitting on your bench. He might play 82 minutes in a year, and he gets paid like $6 million. Yeah. So anyway, that's another thing. So
yeah, sorry,
I guess
didn't mean to throw you.
That's cool, dude. So I guess the Mavericks, with the new CBA deal, is that teams get penalized. In the past, the Mavericks would always go into the luxury tax, right? And that's basically dollar for dollar. And the Mavericks have always been over the luxury tax. So that means if you're $20 million over, you got to pay $20 million in a tax, and that's fine. Cuban's been like that. It's not about money with him. He's lost money every single year except 2006 and probably this last year owning the Mavericks, and that's fine. It's not a money-making venture for him, but at a certain point, when it's going to get the way they set it up, it's going to be crippling to a team that if you're over the luxury tax this next year, and especially the third and fourth year of the CBA, it's basically going to be where you can't even, not only can you not sign people, but you can't trade people. It's basically your team is immobile. You're dead in the water till your contracts run out, and you just got to live with it. It's pretty bad. So that's why they did that. It was a tough decision. They made it. But since, I guess we'll kind of slide in here with the fallout from the Chris Paul to the Lakers ordeal, is that they get Lamar Odom, Mark. Lamar Odom. Can you believe that?
I know you're excited about that. And for next to nothing, too. I mean, you guys really made out. Not only did you cripple one of your foes in the West, but you totally helped you guys out a lot. I mean, what an addition there. A guy can step right in. He can play almost all 5 positions, handles the ball, can bring it up court. He's got a good outside game, good mid-range game. He's got a nice jumper. He can get down low. He can bang with the big boys. Really nice addition there to the Dallas Mavericks. There, I'm actually curious to see how he's going to work out because he is just such a versatile player that you guys picked up.
And we get him, Mark, for, you said basically nothing. We get him for a first-round pick. It's right. I'm not sure if the term is. I'm not sure if conditional is the word, but it's we owe it to him in the next 6 years. So it's a first-round pick. We just get the pick whenever we give it to him. So, I mean, that's it.
That's a nice luxury to have.
He's a free agent, so he's off the books next year. So say if, quote unquote, you want to go make a run at Dwight Howard or somebody before the trade deadline, or even at the end of the year, you can sign him, or you can trade him, and then that team gets the luxury of his salary. I think it's like $9 million, something like that. But if the team can get him and let him go and only pay $2 million, so you get that free money, and that's going to be a big chip coming up here in the offseason with all these teams having to face the second year of the CBA coming up against that third year where they're going to get heavily penalized. So, but I mean, just leave that scenario alone. Say you like him, you still got Lamar Odom, man, right now. Right. It is awesome. And the whole deal went down in about 4 hours. Basically, Lamar Odom passed Kobe Bryant. Mark Cuban was saying, past Kobe Bryant's probably the second best player in their team. And then when he was asking in an interview if they thought they could get Lamar Odom, it's like, well, and no more than you can think about asking for a guy like Kobe. They're going to be saying no, so you don't even ask. So whenever they came to the organization and asked, "Do you want Lamar Odom?" It's like, yeah. What for?
And when they found out why, for what, obviously Cuban was a no-brainer. And Lamar Odom's a stand-up guy too. You guys are getting a good locker room guy. I know wherever he's been, Miami, LA, guys have really rallied around him. He's a good locker room presence. Always gets along well. Is real coachable. I'm no surprise that Cuban jumped all over that opportunity.
And let's touch on a couple of other additions, as I'm not sure how they're going to be felt around the NBA, but Vinsanity is now a Maverick. Vince Carter.
Oh, bring it. Let it rain down.
Damn, dude. If this was 2005, he'd have a pretty bitchin' team. Now, he's an older guy. He's averaged 20 points a game in his career. Now he's averaging closer to 15, 14, which, in all honesty, it's not too far from what Karan was averaging before he got hurt. He was averaging 16. So you get that. Excuse me. I got a burp. So you get that. It works out well, I guess. I don't know. I mean, the key thing here is that whenever your starters go off the court at the beginning of the game, and the backups come in, you got Lamar Odom, and you got Jason Terry, and maybe, depending on his role, you got Vince Carter coming in off the bench against the other team's spares. I think whatever your defensive position is, whoever your center is, Haywood or Jan Mahimi is going to be stepping up, I think that's going to be pretty tough to contend with because it's going to be pretty tough to stop those guys.
Real quick, who's going to be starting for you guys at the 2 spot if Carter is coming off the bench?
I think it's going to be who is it? Oh crap! I saw the lineup today. So why don't you take a drink, Mark?
I actually think it's. If I'm not correct. I don't know if I'm for sure on this. I might be mistaken, but Carter, I think, would be starting for you guys, wouldn't he?
Sometimes he would, sometimes he wouldn't.
Depending on the nightly matchups.
Yeah. Let's see here. Here it is. As we vamp. So we have Jason Kidd, Vince Carter, Sean Marion, Dirk, and Brendan Haywood starting. And then the other addition that we found out that happened yesterday was we got an NBA crazy man galore, Delonte West from the. But he come from the Celtics? I don't know.
Or Cleveland, or somewhere.
I think he came from Celtics. Didn't Cleveland deal him? I don't know.
Oh, maybe you're right. Yeah, Cleveland, or Boston.
So Delonte West, famous for rumored to have slept with LeBron James's mom.
Classy guy.
This is a funny rumor, but it's as funny as it is. It eerily has never been confirmed nor denied.
Hey.
So, and that might have been why he was kind of sent packing out of Cleveland when LeBron was there.
Shuffled out of Cleveland, yeah.
Yeah, so he's your backup point guard. What do you think about that, backing up J. Kidd, Mark?
Well, I don't know. Hopefully he'll keep his handgun at home and won't bring it to the stadium. You know, how he was, that story, he was rumored rolling around with a handgun and a guitar case or something like that. And
on a motorcycle. That's nuts.
Yeah, pretty crazy. But as long as he keeps that at home, maybe he can contribute to you guys. I don't know. I haven't heard much from that guy other than that story right there as far as his production over the past year. I know he was a decent guy off the bench when he was with Cleveland, and then even a little bit in Boston when they were on a playoff run. I remember him contributing there, but I don't know. I definitely think that Vince Carter, he's good for, like you said, 14, 16 a night. I don't know what the contract, the terms are of the negotiation, but I know that he came from Phoenix, and Phoenix just didn't want to pay him. I think he was due $18 million this year, and it was a no-brainer that they went ahead and let him go. So, he's serviceable. I mean, he might step in and kind of fill in Cron Butler's shoes as far as on a production stance. So, and he's a good locker room guy. Never any trouble. Always a stand-up guy. He has been his whole career. So easy to get along with. Good personality. Very coachable. So he does want the ball, and depending, Dirk's the man there, and so. He's going to have to understand that, but he wants the ball in his hand, so hopefully there's enough shots to go around.
Yeah, I think this team likes passing it enough for he'll be able to thrive in that position, especially Dirk's Robin to his Batman. So you'd have at point guard right now. You got Jason Kidd, Delonte West, and Dominic Jones. Shooting guard, you got Vince Sanity, Jet coming off the bench, and Roddy Buckets. We'll see about Roddy Buckets. Sean Marion and Lamar Odom at small forward. Power, of course, you have the big German / Odom. Brian Cardinal and the Mavericks also picked up Brandon Wright. Are you familiar with Brandon Wright, Mark?
The name sounds familiar, but I can't put a face to it just yet.
I think he's a former first rounder that didn't. He's only like 22. Let's see here. He's been in the NBA for 3 years. 6'10", 210. From North Carolina. He's let's see here. He's a power forward. Basically averaged 4 points a game, 2 rebounds. Meh. He's basically a flame out that maybe they can see if Carlisle can whip him into shape. And if there's any coach that think can do that, it is Carlisle. So, and then, of course, at center, you have Brendan Haywood and Jan Mahimi / Wright, who could possibly slip in there. So, it's a pretty versatile team, and you still got 1 roster spot or 2 roster spots left with the Mavericks shipping out Corey Brewer and Rudy Fernandez. So, there's rumor that the Mavericks might be in the market of going back and getting Deshaun Stevenson. I have Abraham Lincoln on my neck Stevenson, which I kind of wouldn't be opposed to. I kind of wouldn't. Because you
liked him last year, huh? Big number 92 coming off the bench for you. You liked that?
I liked his defense, his hounding defense. And then he wasn't going to block a ton of shots. He wasn't going to, just create a ton of offense, but he was a defensive hound. He really stayed on you. He wasn't afraid to go on Kobe, to get in his face, to have that mean mug just looking you down. So I think that his energy and enthusiasm, they could help, especially with the defense that's lost with Tyson Chandler gone out of the middle. So I think that wouldn't be a bad addition at this point with the market getting pretty picked over. So
the only place where I see you guys struggling this year is at that center position. The way that Chandler vacated that, and you have Brendan Hayward stepping back up there in the starting role, and this Yamahimi. Ooh, man, I don't know. We'll see how you guys do. It would be nice to see you guys go out and get another big man with one of those open roster spots. At least somebody. I mean, Brendan Hayward's he's played in the league for maybe 10 years now at least, and he's serviceable. He's good. But I don't think he's quite the starter. I think the roles, and it worked so well for you guys last year because he was able to come off the bench and give Chandler some relief. That presence is going to be missed. So one spot that I think the Mavericks could be struggling in is at the number 5 spot down low with the big man.
Definitely center's a soft spot, and who knows? I don't know. I think there's a guy in New Orlando that might have something to say about that if before this is all said and done. So
we'll see what you guys can do.
Oof.
Wheel them and deal them.
So, and this just in, the Grizzlies re-signed Marc Gasol for 4 years, $58 million. So there's little doubt that guy was going to move, but just in case you were losing sleep over it, Gasol is staying in Memphis, people. So
that'd have been a nice pickup for Dallas.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he would have done though.
Probably close to 20 and 10 a night. Yeah, he's almost good for that.
Well, that means you'd have to let somebody go and take on a ton.
You're like, only that. Okay, well, maybe.
Well, 4 years and damn near $60 million. That's a lot of money.
No, I know.
And that's definitely that team centerpiece. So ain't that. So all right, dude. Well, I guess that just about sums up most of the NBA transactions. Is just nuts this week. Just every hour is just everything's changing. So man, I was so excited to get that off my chest. I woke up Sunday morning hearing that we got Lamar Odom. I was trying to looking through my phone. I was calling you. You didn't pick up. I was like, dude, I got to call Kyle. I was just calling anybody that would listen. I just had to talk about it. It was freaking driving me nuts how we got Lamar Odom. But yeah. Anyway, enough about that.
Don't forget about Vinsanity. Don't forget about your boy there, Kata.
Vinsanity, Mr. Kata. So let's talk a little bit of football before we call it a night. What do you say, Mark?
Yep, sounds good. Let's dive into it.
All right, let's go ahead and I wrote it down. I'm not sure if you did. Let's go ahead and review our last week's picks before we get to this week's picks and a couple of notable games, I guess. So
I don't have them in front of me, so let me know. How did we do?
Well, I picked real quick. I picked Atlanta over Carolina. So
good pick.
Yeah, and you did not. So
yeah.
There's one for me. I picked Denver over Chicago, and we both picked that. So that's one for each of us. Tim Tebow strikes again at a miraculous field goal, 59-yarder. That's insane. You don't see those every day.
That kicker was the player of the game for that team, man. I know Tebow was good, but a 51 and a 59-yarder with the pressure on, what a game that kicker had.
That was nuts. I picked Dallas or New York at Dallas. I went ahead and picked New York because I had a hunch, and you did not.
Yeah, not looking so good for me over here, I don't think.
It's not looking good for you. It's not looking good for the Cowboys. Oh. And then the final one we picked on was Oakland at Green Bay. I think we both would have bet the house on this one, and we were both correct. Green Bay won, and it wasn't really close.
No, I think it was 31-0 at one point at halftime or something. It was pathetic. I mean, I'm happy. I mean, obviously, but that was just a laugher of a game. I don't think they even scored until midway through the third quarter. So I don't know. It was kind of a joke, but.
And you're happy. We had a Ryan Grant sighting, didn't we?
Right. Can you believe this? Damn near 100 yards, 2 touchdowns? Where did this guy come from?
Dude,
wow.
He came from, I'm about to lose my jobville.
Yeah, I guess he had to step up, and he sure did. Boy, we could use that production in the playoffs. If they could give us that aspect, that totally changes that team around for even as good as they are, even better. So we'll hope that continues happening.
Yeah, with Ryan Grant, don't count on it, though. The guy sucks. You heard me.
Oh, this just in. This just in. Ryan Grant. Oh, he sucks. Okay.
This just in. Ryan Grant sucks a D. All right. So let's go ahead and get to some games this week. Now, as bad as I thought the games were last week and had a hard time picking them or picking which games to cover, this week's not as just as bad, if worse. So I guess there's a couple NFC East games we can pick on. I mean, there really isn't nothing going on this week. So let's go Washington at Giants. Who do you got, Mark, here? Washington at Giants.
Washington at the Giants. Well, I'll tell you what, Washington played pretty inspired last week. I watched some of that game against New England, and you would have thought with a team like Washington kind of up in the beginning of the year and then down a lot during the latter part of it, that they were going to kind of get rolled over, especially with how hot New England's been. But they put up a hell of a fight. They actually had a chance to win that game. They had some big plays. Rex Grossman was actually pretty decent. The defense held its own with that New England offense. But I don't know, man. I think that last week the Giants really they escaped with one. They knew it, but they also knew that they played a good football team and they played them well. And you almost have to look at it now with the remaining schedules. New York and Dallas, they know that they got a good shot at winning that division. It's in New York. It's at the New Meadowlands, MetLife Stadium there up in New York. I got the Giants against Washington. I just don't think that they're going to let up. They got their foot on the gas right now, and we're going to see how they can finish. But I got New York. How about you?
I'm going to have to go with New York. As much as I like that new running back Washington has, and maybe that helps take the pressure off of Rex Grossman and hides him a little bit. I just don't see that they have enough weapons to compete with that Giants defense. So, yeah, I'm meant to say that, dude. We have to go on that
right.
Same one on that one. All right, this we'll save that one for last. Baltimore at San Diego. San Diego's really kind of pooping the bed here lately. Baltimore is just are they the first in that division now?
They are, yeah. Actually, if the playoffs were to start now, Baltimore would win that division.
Yes, Baltimore's playing good. Ray Rice is going strong. Flacco's not hurting you, but that Ravens defense is just freaking tearing it up. And I'm not a big San Diego guy. Ryan Matthews is good. Phillip Rivers is all right, and I will say all right. He's overhyped. I will say it again. Phillip Rivers is overhyped. I don't trust him. I don't believe him. He's a really bad quarterback. If Tony Romo did half the stuff he did, he'd get grilled out of this town. He wouldn't be on this roster anymore. But for some reason, Phillip Rivers gets a pass. I'm going to say Baltimore all the way for the win.
Well, really quick, Phillip Rivers gets a pass because he doesn't play for the Dallas Cowboys. You have something that kind of goes with playing for America's team. I kind of agree with you. I do think that Tony Romo, if he were to pull some of that stuff that Phillip Rivers does, he would be ran out. But there's a reason for that, and that's because he plays for America's team. So right. It isn't fair, but it is what it is. But Romo's playing well. But anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. San Diego, they were hot in the beginning. They've kind of fallen off since. Their defense isn't quite the same. Teams that head out west from the east usually fare well. Baltimore is like you said, playing really good football, running it. Flacco's not hurting. He's actually helping. He's actually having some pretty good games the past few. And I was never a believer actually in Joe Flacco. I always thought he was a spare quarterback at best. That team was always carried by the defensive running game. As long as Flacco didn't throw too many picks, they were going to be okay. But he's actually been pretty productive, and I've been pretty impressed. So I got Baltimore in San Diego. San Diego's not really fighting for much. The playoff race is close to over there. It's a two-team race with Denver and Oakland. Yep. And by the way, the Ravens have been doing all that on defense, tearing it up and having such a good game the past few games without Ray Lewis. So they get him back this week. Number 52 is coming back. He's going to pipe them up, and they're just going to play that much better, more inspired whenever he's on the field. So I got the Ravens at the B-Mole.
All right. Well, we're on the same page with that one. Oh crap!
I got some catching up to do, man. I think you were 4-0 last week. I was 2-2. Is that
is correct, sir? I kind of did want to rub it in. I went 4-0, but I kind of did go 4-0 actually. So
yeah, I'm kind of surprised that you went 4-0, but we'll talk about that.
Then again, he's got the list, so we don't know.
Ooh. Dallas to Tampa Bay. What do you think about this? I'm not so sure what to think about this Dallas team coming off Sunday's game.
Dallas, Tampa Bay. Well, I don't know. You know, Tampa was a team last year, 10-6, barely missed the playoffs. They really played well. Josh Freeman was an up-and-coming quarterback. You know, one of the new young guns in the league. LeGarrette Blount, he is a beast. The running back they have over there in Tampa, the guy is he's like a freight train. He is a good running back.
Watch out, I'll punch you.
Yeah, watch out now. And so I don't know. It's in Tampa, Dallas. You know what, Ryan? I don't know, man. I would normally just go ahead and say Dallas, but boy, these past two last-second losses have got to be killing them. It can wear them. This is where
That's
Jason
how they
Garrett's
work,
got to
though.
shine.
Once everybody's completely done with them, they come back and win a game, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, Dallas."
Yeah, absolutely they do.
Absolutely. When you think they're down and out, they surprise you. Dallas definitely has to rally behind their coach. Jason Garrett has to show his worth here. He has to rally his troops, let them know that it's not over, because it isn't. They're very much in the race for that NFC East crown. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Buccaneers. Why not? Let's go against the grain here. I'm going to go ahead and take Tampa on a limb. I picked Dallas last week, and they let me down. I was for sure thinking that they were going to win that game. So why not? Let's go ahead. I really don't have any say either way. I'll just go ahead and pick Tampa for the sake of picking.
Well, although there's a lot of things down in Tampa, like what happened to Josh Freeman. I thought he was going to be like the second coming over here. Didn't happen.
Yeah.
They have found a running game with LeGarrette. I'm going to punch you in the face, Blunt. That defense, I'm not sure about it. I don't know. Just that they were supposed to be contending, the main contenders with the Saints this year in that division. It hasn't happened that way at all. It's Atlanta can barely contend, and it's just been a mishmash. And it's really been a race between Atlanta and Carolina in that division to compete with the Saints, and neither one has pulled out ahead of the other too much. Now, I don't know. As bad as I think the Tampa Bay Sucks are.
Oh, nice.
Whoa, hey now. I don't know. I just don't. I don't know any stats. The only thing I know is that I don't think the Cowboys are going to go 0-3 in December. 0-3 in their third game. How about that? They might still lose 3 games in December. I don't think they lose 3 straight in December. I don't think it's going to happen this week. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Dallas, regardless of statistics, except that one. But check. I don't know. Hopefully, I'll be here next week. And let's go ahead and get this over with. The last game has got to be the game of the week. New England at Denver.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Green Bay at Kansas City. Never mind.
Yeah, probably not, dude. The team that just fired their head coach. New England at Denver. How bad of a
chillaxing is that going to? Anyway.
Oh man. So Tom Brady going to Mile High, and actually he is not. They haven't played very well at all when they've been to Mile High Stadium. I think I don't know. I heard a number, but I don't think it's correct. So let's throw this incorrect number out there. The past 12 times they've been there, they've lost 10. And I'm not sure if that's correct, but damn, dude. If that's true, that's damning. And you got I'll talk about the second coming. You got Tim Tebow over here just going nuts. What do you think, Mark?
I don't know. Tim Tebow, the Denver Tebows, as they've been people like to call them recently.
Tim Tebows.
Yeah, well, they say it's all him, man. It's do you believe in Tebow? It's undeniable what he's done to that team. It's almost I don't know if you want to call it a fluke, if you want to say that he's the real deal. I don't personally just yet, but there's something about him that makes that team win. And that defense is playing more inspired. Von Miller, probably rookie of the year there on the defensive side. Second draft pick out of A&M. What a pickup for them. We kind of knew he was going to be a stud.
Totally.
He definitely has been as advertised. He's got a couple of wide receivers. Tebow does. Eric Decker, Marius Thomas. They got a little running game. Willis McGay, he's kind of had a resurrection over there in Denver since he's joined the club. John Fox is a heck of a coach. I said that even when Carolina let him go, that he can still coach. He's still one of the better ones. So I don't know, man. They're up there mile high. The air is thin, and they like playing up there behind those Bronco fans. But we're talking about New England. We're talking about Tom Brady, and we're talking about Bill Belichick, Wes Welker,
Belichick.
And Tom Brady's still got a little magic of his own left. And going there, it's going to be a heck of a game, road game. They're going to be hyped. They're in playoff contention. They're in Denver. New England's in playoff, obviously in the playoffs, and looking to keep that going. I'm going to go ahead and say that this is where it stops. New England comes in there. There's no way that the Broncos are going to win. Tom Brady's too much. That defense, it's good, but I don't know if it's good enough. Belichick, he's going to have something for Tebow as well with his defense. It's not the best, but it's still a pretty decent defense, and they're going to watch video on Tebow and learn how to stop him. I'm going with the Patriots.
Yeah, no kidding. They're going to watch Tebow. They're going to have a secret weapon. Bill Belichick's going to set a camera up in one of their practices.
Exactly.
I can't argue with anything you said, and I am not a Tim Tebow guy, but we're agreeing on all this stuff, and I'm going to split 2-2, and I am going to go ahead and pick Denver. Just to oppose
you're drinking the Kool-Aid, huh?
No, I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid. I think, look, people want to dog Tebow for his beliefs and everything. That's fine. That's not right. I am dogging him because he's just not a good quarterback. Now, when Tim Tebow plays like a number one, like best tight end in the league and catches 1,000 passes, he'll be the best at his position. Until then, he's just not a good quarterback. I'm sorry, but that defense is good. I'm not even going to argue the stats of it. There's no reason for me to pick Denver. I think the Patriots are going to go in there and wipe their ass with them. But I'm just going to go ahead and do it just so we can have a split with picks. So,
okay. All right. Well, that's
just to make it interesting.
Yeah.
Now, and just in case he does win, oh my God, can you imagine all the crap you're hearing about him now? Imagine if they beat the Patriots, dude.
Yeah, it's just going to be. And now, really quick, that puts Broncos into quite the predicament. How do you go ahead and let this guy go, or try to draft another quarterback, or go after somebody else if you think Tebow's not the guy, when clearly he is? He's won how many games in a row? 7 of his last 8. It's going to be something that organization is going to have to stop and think. Do you go ahead and go forward with Tim Tebow as your starting quarterback for the next how many years? Or do you go ahead and find somebody else who mechanically, and to the eye looks a lot better and more of a quarterback but doesn't win as much? I mean, it's a roll of dice. It'll definitely be something to look forward to, what they're going to do.
I think if you're going to go with Tim Tebow, you got to put a ton of pieces around him at the right positions. But I don't know, man. It's just too easy to start over with another damn quarterback. It really is.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That's a hell of a position. I think that there might be a job or two lost over this decision in the offseason. So
yeah,
I don't know. I think the train stops this week, and I think once that love stops, reality sets in. And he's just crap quarterback. That's it. I think the Love's Fest will win.
But you're on record. You're picking Denver.
I'm picking Denver, but I think the Patriots will win.
What?
Okay.
I knew the Patriots were going to win.
If we go down the board and we're all picking the same games, we're not going to get any separation here for who has to wear the Hitler mustache. So,
hey, Rich, he's doing it all for the ratings.
I know.
Yes, I'm selling out right before your eyes. Now, I could go ahead and pick Washington over the Giants, but I think it's a little bit funner to pick Denver over the Patriots. What do you think?
It is less filling, but it does taste great.
Yeah, it is. It's good. It's good, Ryan. Good man.
See, Look, come on. I know what I'm doing here, man. All right? Get on my nuts.
Let me work here. Let me operate, right? Let me operate.
Come on, back up there. Back up there, silly pants. Back up there, barrel ass. All right, man.
Back up there.
Well, you got anything else you want to talk about? I mean, we didn't even talk about the Cowboy game, and quite frankly, it's worth covering as long as I have a gun in my mouth. But we've gone pretty long, dude. I think our viewers are kind of getting tired of my voice. Definitely tired of your face. So if you don't have anything else to add, man, I think that might just wrap it up.
I think that's it. Yep, I think we covered what we needed to. So good show.
A big NBA show today. We'll get back. I'm sure the NBA energy will subside. We'll get back to football next week. But I think that's all the time we got for y'all tonight. Folks. Holy crap! I think the studying's burning me out.